MMA T Company fight preview today. I have Tommy Majeski. Tommy is making his professional debut on CFFC 84 in Mississippi. He'll be fighting Will Beard out of Tennessee. Will has a 1-0 record. So Tommy, how you doing? How you feeling going into this pro debut?
Feeling good, feeling confident as always. I always put in the work, so the result to me is already a solid thing.
And I know last time we had talked, we were talking about you. We're kicking around the idea of making your pro debut. Not really sure if you wanted another fight or two before you did it. Did COVID have a big factor in you pulling the trigger and saying, all right, it's time to go pro now?
No. Well, sort of. I was supposed to make my pro debut back in May, and COVID kind of put the brakes on that. So
okay.
I tried to get something in August that didn't work out, and then September luckily came through for me.
And this promotion, it's under the CFFC banner, but it's actually a promotion that they had just purchased. So are you still working with all of the same CFFC guys? Are you working with the promoters from the other promotion? How is that working after this acquisition?
Yeah, I'd say all the same people, I believe. I don't know if you know Helen.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in contact with her. She's doing the same work for this promotion. So I'm not sure actually if it's going to be CFFC or if they're going to run it under the other name.
Got you. And it's also in Mississippi. Is that the farthest that you've been fighting away from home so far?
Yeah, for sure. I've only fought in PA so far.
Got you. And in terms of your travel, are you driving? You gonna fly? How you getting down there?
Still trying to figure that part out.
All right, got you. Okay. All right, cool. And now with him being from Tennessee, I would assume that he's not just right over the border either. So both of you are going to have a decent way to travel. Obviously, you're coming from much farther, being up here in the Northeast, but Tennessee and Mississippi aren't necessarily neighbors. So now it'll be interesting to see how they get you guys down there.
Yeah.
Now, are they allowed?
They were talking about.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Go. They were talking about booking a flight, but I'm not sure if the CFFC pays for that or if I'd have to pay for it. But I'm fine as long as I get to fight. I don't care if I have to fly or drive, whatever.
Got you. Okay. And are fans allowed at this venue in Mississippi?
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason they wanted to do it down there. I think they can have like up to 600 people in the venue.
Okay, so yeah, that's a decent amount compared to when they did 2300 Arena a couple weeks ago. There wasn't a fan in sight.
Yep. which I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted to be able to. I sort of wanted to do that no audience fight and be able to hear everything, have that experience. But as long as I get to put hands on somebody.
Sure, and you're someone who I think is kind of just ready for anybody they put in front of you. So for this pro debut, how was it getting an opponent? What do you know about your opponent? How did that selection process go?
We actually found this guy pretty fast. I think he signed a contract before I did. So my coach was like, this guy's ready to go for the 17th, and I checked him out and I was like, yep, I'll take it. So I know he's sort of stockier, a little bit shorter than me, a little bit wider. So I think he's going to be looking to wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, with the guys that you're working with, down there in your camps, seems like somebody coming out and trying to hold you against the cage isn't something that you're, I don't want to say concerned about, but it's not something that you haven't dealt with before.
Oh yeah, I deal with it every day. It's my main focus is not being held down, not being held on the cage, so I can light people up on the feet.
Mm-hmm. So when you're working, these stand-up drills and these, I guess call them like cage work and reversals off the cage, things like that. Are you focusing on anything specific that you've seen him do, or is it more just putting in the work of get up, and turn your back off the cage and strike?
Yeah, more just the general idea of it, never getting stuck in one position. As soon as you hit the ground, bounce back up. If you're on the cage, get off the cage. I haven't seen much of him. He has 2 fights on YouTube that I've seen, and they've been pretty short, both of them. So I don't know much about his wrestling game, but I know he does look to wrestle.
Gotcha. Okay. And now you know, primarily wanting to strike with him. You know, have you been working a specific game plan of measuring distance, specific combos you want to come out with? Not that you need to really, you know, tell us anything like that, but you know, I always like to have my first sequence or first 2 sequences kind of in my head when I come out. You know, I was never a Jorge Masvidal coming out with a flying knee, but are you game planning for something like that where, you know, you want to come out and you want to touch him with, you know, a specific combo and start working from there?
Yep. I got a couple tricks in the book waiting for him.
Good. So, you know, with those tricks that you have, are you, you know, are you kind of seeing that you think you have, you know, what you're going to be able to use to finish him? Do you have, you know, a finish in mind? Is that what you're hunting for in this fight?
Yeah, I have a general strategy in mind, and then I have a couple tactics that I think will be able to put him out. You know, if it's not this, it's going to be that. Plan A, B, C, D, all the way to Z.
And then when you're game planning, you know, you're constantly in there with your coaches. And one thing that I always want to ask fighters, and I never remember to do it, is do you and your coaches have, you know, specific like code names or keywords for combos? Like in our gym, we had like, if they would yell cowboy, it would be one combo, or if they would yell hoof, it would be another combo. Do you guys use like different code words and things like that for your combos?
Yeah. Well, my one cornerman does. We have a couple weird names for certain stuff that we only me and him really know the names of it. So I'll listen, and he happens to be the loudest guy in the corner, so it works out in my favor.
And now, in terms of your coaches, I always preferred that my striking coach would yell out my combos or whatever if I was standing, but then that my jiu-jitsu coach would take over and kind of walk me through what's going on the ground, whether I'm on my back or on top, either way. So do your coaches kind of split time of screaming from the corner, or do you like to have one coach that you can always hear?
It seems like it's the guy I just talked about. It seems like he's the only one I can really hear in the corner. So I don't know if my other coach is giving him information that he's then relaying to me, or if I just can't hear my other coach. But
Okay.
it's been working out for me, so I can't complain.
Like Damien, our gym owner, for instance, whenever I corner with him, I know that he's quiet. So he essentially is feeding me information and I'm taking it and screaming it out to the fighters. So it could be
Yeah, I'm
something
pretty
that your
sure.
coaches are doing that.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's what they do.
Um, and, you know, I try to always be the loudest guy in the room too, whenever I'm cornering. Somebody has to be, right?
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah. So talking about going down there to Mississippi, you know, first time really traveling for fighting. Is it your first time traveling during this whole COVID pandemic as well?
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think I've been any further than PA through this whole thing.
got you. And are they, I saw videos on the CFFC's page of how they're kind of, you know, testing the fighters and having different protocols, things like that. So are you being tested this far out with your fight in September, or did they kind of give you a date of when you have to submit a negative test by?
Yeah, I think I have to be tested 2 weeks out, and then I have to like quarantine after that, like as much as I can.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask, with these kind of fights, are kind of, you know, they're all up in the air. I think what Jeremiah's fight was canceled the day before he was going to go out, Jeremiah Wells, for his fight last CFFC, and a couple others were canceled because of COVID. So did they talk to you about, you know, if you're positive or if you're negative and your opponent's positive, we have a replacement for you, or, you know, do they have people kind of waiting for the call if something would happen like that?
They haven't talked about that, but man, I hope so. I'd hate to travel down there for nothing.
Sure, that's yeah, because I wouldn't want, you know, you to travel there or even your opponent to travel all the way down there and then find out that, you know, you can't fight and they don't have a replacement for you. So, you know, I would think that the CFFC may have some, you know, people waiting in the wings kind of thing. You know, Bill Algeo had a short notice opponent in his last fight, and I think that was possibly COVID related. I'm not 100% sure. But
Yeah.
That's what I would hope for, especially traveling all the way down there from Pennsylvania. You know, you don't want to go down there, like you said, and then just kind of be chilling in Mississippi in the
Yep,
heat.
watching all my teammates fight,
Yeah, exactly.
like that would be the worst.
And speaking of teammates, you know, you have a couple other, like I said, teammates that are fighting on this card. Um, I've done it both ways where I've trained for specific cards with other people. And then I've also had kind of solo fight camps where they were just focused on me. I was the only person fighting that weekend or on that card. Which do you prefer?
I like going as a team.
Mhm.
I like, talking to my teammates about it. Like, what's your guy like? What's your plan? And then we're in the gym training together. We know what's coming up. So it just adds that element of like fire to it. Like we know we're going to battle.
Yeah, and on top of that too, I always preferred to have somebody to cut weight with.
Yep. That helps too. For
uh,
sure.
how
Somebody to
is
suffer with.
being this far out? What are we? A couple weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. You know, how is your weight now? How do you feel walking around? Are you light? Are you where you want to be?
I'm exactly where I want to be. I pretty much keep it the same for every fight. I have a science to it at this weight.
Good. And then you feel like you're your best fighter at that weight as well.
Yeah, I'm possibly going to drop after this, but we'll see. I might drop to lightweight, but you never know.
You'd be a
The
big
W's
lightweight.
keep coming at welterweight, so I might just keep pumping them out.
Sure. Yeah. And that's kind of, you know, you use amateurs and, you know, try it out. If you try out a couple different things, you know, see what works, what doesn't. And then, you know, if you would feel good either walking around lighter or cutting more weight, you'd be a big lightweight.
Yeah, I might enjoy that.
I know, right? Because
It's
some of
like pros
these,
and cons to each one. It's hard to make up my mind.
yeah, some of these welterweights, man, they're walking around like 200 pounds and then dropping to
Yeah.
170. They're humongous.
Yep.
So better you than me. So before I let you go, I just wanted to give you also a shot to, you know, hit any shout outs you want, teammates, coaches, sponsors, anything like that. The floor is yours. You know, take the time, give them all shout outs.
Of course, Webb Fitness and MMA, Jonathan Webb, Alan Otto, Phil Maldonado, my other Muay Thai coach, John Marcello, who probably can't make it to the fight, but he's been a big part of my game. Yeah, that's about it. All my teammates over there. Everybody, EFC, Daniel Gracie's, all beasts over there.
Yes, they are. I'm looking forward to it, Tommy. I'll be watching on Fight Pass. Alex will be watching too. So, you know, good luck. If you need anything, let us know, and we'll talk to you on the other side.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tommy. Have a good one.
You too.